Hey guys, just want to talk a little bit about calibers and why I choose a certain caliber over another, for whatever reason it is. The 9mm right here is the older cartridge. It was developed before the 45 ACP. Both are great cartridges, both are great rounds. They both have been in service for a very long time. Well over 100 years, and they both do the job. There is a lot of stigma with 9mm, and it stems from bullet design. For a long time, and even still in military applications, ball ammunition is used. Full metal jacket, not hollow point, not open tip, just straight ball ammo. It's a really poor choice. A lot of people agree. Even our rifle ammo is not ball ammo. In a lot of cases, it's open tip match. Unless we're talking, 5.56 or whatever, then yes, it's still considered ball ammo for whatever reason. I don't know why we haven't moved to open tip match for that. Anyways, most of us carry pistols, not rifles, daily. Or at least people watching this video, I would assume, are carrying daily. I do. I hope you are. If you're not, something you should look into. I personally pick the 9mm. I think it's a better round. Better round not in terms of terminal ballistics and its effects at stopping a target. And I say that because both of those rounds do the same thing. With the hollow point design that we have, both rounds will do the same thing when they hit a human or an animal or whatever your intended target is. Even when we throw in the 10mm or the 40 for that matter, if you want to run a short 10, it's the same thing. They do the same thing. The only option I like on the 10mm is I can run a much heavier bullet still at high velocity if I'm going to be out in an area where there's four-legged creatures, larger four-legged creatures. I'm not talking about dogs. I'm talking about like elk, moose, bears. If I'm in an area in a backcountry where I need something larger, then I definitely do go 10mm. Hot 10mm, something that's on par with 41 Magnum, and I prefer that over a revolver chambered in maybe 44 or larger, simply because of capacity, and it's a familiar platform for me. I run semi-autos for everything. I'm not going to change to a different platform just to gain a little bit more on a caliber when I could run 15-20 rounds of 10mm, which performs very similarly to 41 Magnum, which is better than the 357 Magnum. So let's remove that out, since, some of you might be carrying 10mm daily, but that's usually not a talking point. A lot of talk goes around the 9mm 45. A lot of people say, well, John Moses Browning himself designed this nice Colt 1911 in 45, and that's not true. The 1911 platform was not designed the way it sits here. It was not designed with the safeties. It was not designed in 45. In fact, we see other designs from the same time earlier and later from John Moses Browning that do not have the safeties that was required by the military, the U.S. military, when they adopted the design. And we also don't see it chambered in 45. 45 is not a bad round. It was picked for a very specific reason, conflict in the Philippines, where the 38 caliber revolvers were not working effectively. And again, bad bullet design, low velocity. It's just, a combination of things. And marksmanship training in that time period was not anywhere near what it is today. Jeff Cooper largely developed the tactics that we use today in bringing up the pistol to eye level and actually shooting. Yes, some of that was developed during World War II. If you look at some of the World War II training videos, they do have some of the GIs bringing up the firearm to eye level to do some of the firing, but it's one-handed. A lot of it's point shooting, body shooting. You extend the firearm straight out in front of you, and then as you move your whole body, that's how you're pointing with your body. Not so much picking up your sights and using your sights. So, some people say 1911, it's got to be 1911, it's got to be a 45. I love the 1911. Here is one of my newer ones that I just picked up. Great firearm. My only complaint is capacity. However, the platform does give me enough to where capacity becomes not a primary complaint, more of a secondary complaint. The trigger is very good. The gun points well, the gun shoots well, the gun's great. So great that I had to buy this one in 9x19, which is 9mm. It's a great platform. This is a great home defense gun. Children can shoot this, your wife, your fiance, your grandmother, your grandfather. Yeah, it's a little heavy, but because it is 9mm, the spring's not as strong as the 45, which allows racking to be much easier. The recoil is much less. The weight will be less, loaded, not unloaded, loaded, because the bullets weigh less. And it's a great round. It's a great gun. The combo goes great together. However, I'm normally running something a little more modern, like my 17, with a light, with an extended mag, usually running, 19 rounds or more. And again, 9mm because I can shoot it well. Shot placement's key. I can place shots very well. Follow-up shots come easy. More importantly, my wife can grab this gun. She can use it. She can stay on target with it very well. Even one-handed, which is important because we do have kids. Maybe she's got one of the kids in her other arm. Maybe she's keeping the kids behind her. She's moving the kids into the other room. She's opening a door, closing a door. It doesn't matter. If she has to shoot this one-handed, she can. And that is primarily why I don't run a rifle, because I have kids. I can't manipulate a rifle effectively one-handed, or as effective one-handed as I can a handgun. So rifle secondary to me, handgun's primary for home defense use. I can have my daughter, who is going to be 15 soon, pick this up and use it. I don't have any worries that she's not going to be able to manage the firearm, even one-handed. My 12-year-old daughter, same way. If she needs to, she could pick this up and use it. And that is a feature. That is a great feature, and it's something that a lot of people, I think, fail to think about when they're going to pick a firearm. They say, well, 45 was my father's round or my grandfather's round, and it's great, it served its country well, and yes, it did. But it has drawbacks. It has more mass. It's going to induce more recoil, felt recoil, into the firearm, which is going to make it harder to manage for the shooter. Yes, men, myself, aren't really going to care about that. If you're single, sure, whatever. I don't really care about recoil. I can shoot anything the same, doesn't matter. Follow-up shots might be a little slower with 45 depending on the platform and your training level. 9mm is definitely going to be the faster round to get back on target. That's going to be probably one of your biggest reasons to run 9mm over capacity. One shot is not going to take down an attacker unless you get really lucky. Lucky in not, I've been training so much that I can place this round, squarely into the center of this target. That's not luck. Luck meaning the person, when he saw your gun come out, didn't move slightly to the left. The person didn't have his heart a little more to the right than every other person. There's so many variables. Maybe when you shot, you hit a rib and the bullet deflected. Maybe you hit the sternum and the bullet deflected. Maybe you hit the person's cell phone in their pocket and the bullet deflected. Maybe you just missed because your adrenaline was too high. There are so many variables. There are so many unknowns in any kind of encounter that you cannot say, well, I just need 1 round of 45, or I just need 8 rounds of 45. I don't agree with that. I think 8 rounds of 45 is great, but you need more. You need secondary mags, maybe tertiary mags, maybe more. I don't know. I normally carry my Glock 19 with 35 rounds in my person. That's how I carry it. My Glock 17 sits at home with 33 rounds in it. And the Glock 17 is different. The only reason why I keep my Glock 17 with 33 rounds in it is because I expect whoever's going to have to use it, me, the wife, whatever, to have the other hand busy with the children, moving the children or whatever, as I just talked about. And in that scenario, I don't want to reload. I don't want anybody to think about reloading. I want them to have enough ammo to where they can defend themselves against multiple attackers without having to reload. Your reload times could be stellar, they could be great. But if you don't have the mags on you, or you're trying to manipulate a door, your reloads are going to be slower. Maybe you're holding a kid in one of your hands. Maybe you got shot in your arm and you can't reload with 2 hands. Okay, maybe you trained to reload 1 hand. That's great. Is it going to be slower? Absolutely. Is it faster to not reload? Absolutely. So that's my reasoning behind running a 33 round magazine in my Glock 17. Might be overkill, but I also run smoke detectors in every room. I don't think that's overkill. I just think it's a necessary precaution. So that's my primary reason for running a 9mm. I see the 45 and 40, same thing. Kind of a round that I don't need to run daily. I will carry the 45 from time to time. 4th of July. On the 4th of July, I always carry my Colt 1911, 100 years of service. I do that because it's just kind of a sentimental thing to me. I got introduced to the 1911 platform by my grandfather, who was a Marine in World War II. And I think that it's more fitting to carry an American-made gun, a traditional American-made gun like the 1911, on the 4th of July. I'll leave my German plastic at home. That's just personal preference. I don't think there's any reason to own a Glock over an M&P. I own them both. Great platforms. Just depends on what you're looking for at the time. Any of these guns are interchangeable to me for the most part. I carry a 19 daily. This is my carry gun, ready to go, always. I do run 2-dot sights. I do modification on my grip. I hate the finger grooves on the Glocks. But I run my 19 daily. That's my carry gun. That's always on me. 17 stays at home. That's the house gun. 1911s. Love my 1911s. But 1911 and 9mm, that's the way to go. Of course, you gotta have one in 45 for tradition, but for carry, for competition, for whatever, run 9mm. There's no reason to run 45. You can go look up stats if you want. Go look up autopsy reports. Go look up wound ballistics. Go look up gelatin tests. Go look up the FBI tests. Go look up whatever test you want. You will not find any test where the 40, the 45 perform better than the 9mm. There are some exceptions to pistol rounds. Some of them do give better intermediate barrier penetration, such as the 357 SIG. The 10mm also does better intermediate barrier penetration depending on the loading, and that's just because we're talking velocity. You push a bullet fast enough and it will penetrate initial barriers easier. That's one primary reason why the 5.56 is such a great round. It is moving at 3,000 feet per second. It's a very light round, and it'll punch through a lot of light barriers easily. But it also has some problems. Problems that I'm not going to get into this video. But I will say that pistol rounds suck. They don't do anywhere near the damage that rifle rounds do. And it doesn't matter the rifle round. 5.56, it's great. 30-30, it's on par with 7.62 by 39. SKS Russian or AK-47 rounds. 308, it's kind of a standard. It's a great round also. 300 Win Mag. Those are all great rounds. Completely different usage from pistol rounds. If I was single, or I didn't have small children that I needed to worry about, I would definitely be running 5.56 for my primary home defense gun. I would even run it over a shotgun, simply because of its terminal ballistics and its ability to not penetrate too many walls. It's moving at such a high velocity, such a light round, that study after study after study shows that when it does encounter drywall, 2x4s, basic home construction type materials, that the round does fragment and break apart very easily, making it more ideal than even the 9mm in a home setting, because the 9mm will penetrate several walls, continue going, maybe end up in your neighbor's yard if you do miss your target, or you're not running the proper jacketed hollow point, which you should be. Maybe you're running ball ammo for whatever reason. Or you miss, you go out a window. You know, I mean, there's a window right here. Maybe there was someone in this room and I missed and went out the window. There's just so many variables. Way too many to ever cover. So we want to prepare for the worst, hope for the best. 9mm is my choice. I run it over 40, run it over 45. There's no reason to run a 40 or 45. You're not going to shoot it better. Even if you think you do shoot it better, you're not. And some people are gonna moan and gripe about that comment, but I'm sorry, you're not gonna shoot a 40 better. You're not gonna shoot a 45 better. Maybe you shoot the platform better. Maybe you shoot the 1911 better, and you think that you're shooting the 45 better because, you know, your Glock 17 sucks. And I agree. There's a lot of problems with the 17. I do a lot of work on mine to make them usable for myself. But that's not a caliber problem. That's a platform problem. And it's not even a training problem, I don't think. I can shoot all of these equally well. Maybe I shoot my 1911s a little bit better. But that's largely because of the trigger. The trigger does hide a lot of problems that the shooter has. A good trigger will definitely make a bad shooter an okay shooter if they just sit there and breathe right and squeeze the trigger properly. A good trigger will make a good shooter a great shooter. Can make him a great shooter. Doesn't always do it. It's just the platform. The platform is different. If you guys have any questions, you guys want to talk about why I picked the 9mm over the 40 or 45, send me some comments. Tell me if I'm wrong, tell me I'm right. Ask me for stats, whatever you want. They're out there, the stats are out there. FBI is just now going back to the 9mm again. They've seen the light, they see that bullet design is primary to everything else. And if you're not going to run a 5.56 AR-15 or similar, then, you know, stick with a pistol. If you have small children that you need to worry about, stick with the pistol. The pistol's great. You can throw it in a pocket if you're moving between rooms, if you need to grab something, if you need to manipulate a door, you can run it one-handed. There's just so many reasons to run a pistol over a rifle or a shotgun in a home if there's children. And it's got nothing to do with penetration. It has everything to do with how you can run the gun effectively. So yeah, questions, comments, go ahead and shoot them to me in the comment section below. Thanks a lot.